Hello everyone, welcome back to this new lecture of AWS real-time website deployment. So today we'll be continuing our setup of this website. In the last video we did all the setup related to EC2, IAM roles, S3, RDS. So today I'll be showing you how you can configure it, how you can take the backup of a website, how the database changes can be made if you do not have access to your database publicly, how you can change the URL of your website in case needed. So this is simply a WordPress website which where we can host different kind of blogs and all. So that's it. So let's continue with the deployment. Let's move to a new folder, that is where www.html, and we can see here that we have all the files required. So first of all, what we'll be doing, we'll be making sure that all the configuration is done for this website to work. We already have the virtual host configuration done, as we saw in the httpd.conf file in the last video. If you have not seen that video, please go and check that video. I'll be putting the link in the description box below. So yes, so for making the database work for this website, we need to change it in the wp config file. So you can see here we have a file named wp config sample.php. We'll be renaming it to wp-config.php. So how do we rename it? We use mv wp wp-config.php. Okay, now if I edit this file using vim editor, right, so you see we have different parameters here given: db name, db user, db password. So remember we had set up our RDS, and that is what we'll be using here. So let's move to AWS console to have a look at it. Okay, let's go to RDS. Let me refresh this page. So I guess there's something wrong with the internet access here. So I guess one more refresh will make it work. Alright, so we have our database instance visible here. So we'll just go down and see we have this endpoint listed here. We'll copy it. We'll come back to our console, SSH console. We'll move to this part. We'll be changing the DB name. It is this. I kept it very simple, as this is just a training video. I guess I'll have to close it. I deleted more than what I had to. No worries. We'll go back again. So just a small change. I'll type my username here. I'll then be entering the password. Make sure that you do not do this in a live production environment. Your password should always be a complex one, and I'll be pasting here the host name. Right, so this is done. This is all done for database settings. Now if I put this IP address in my browser of this server, so this should open up my website. I'll just do this. Let's see what it opens up. Well, so we have sorry, so we have our website's installation page up. Now we can continue with the WordPress installation. Select the language English, continue. Right, so we will be having our step one. Let's see what it comes up with. Right, so it asks me for the website title. I'll give it Tech Essentials. Username will be same. Password, I'll keep it very simple. Make sure to have a complex password in these cases. I'll select my web's email address. I'll leave it as it is. Click on install WordPress. It takes a few seconds, a few minutes to install. I'll pause the video and I'll be back when it's up and running. Right, so it has installed. We can now log in into our WordPress website. Also, if you want to see how your website looks, just copy paste the IP address and hit enter, and my website is up and running now. So this is how you host a simple WordPress website. So this will be this page that is loading. So this will be the admin panel of this WordPress website. Here we can make different changes and all that I'll be showing you in the later part of this video. How to change the URL, how to change the domain name for this website and different other things. So for now, let's move to our SSH console, and I'll show you what else we need to do. So I got logged out. I'll have to log in again. Okay. So let's navigate to my www.html. Right. So here I am in this part. Okay, so now what I'll be doing, I'll be putting this WebDM, this server behind the load balancer, and because see, in real-time environment, a single website won't work. You'll need to have a disaster recovery or a failure resistant or a high availability kind of architecture. So that's the best practice to put in. You always keep your servers behind the load balancer. They have auto scaling enabled and all. So that's what I'll be doing now for this server. So let's get back to our AWS console and set up all these things. Right, so we'll move with load balancer. I'll create a load balancer since there isn't any. I'll go ahead with an application load balancer. I'll give it a name, my web DMZ Okay, this will be internet facing. This will have HTTP. I'll select the two availability zones. Click on next. Okay, so it shows me a warning that I'm not using HTTPS. Since I do not have any SSL, I'll go with the basic configuration. Select, I'll choose the same web DMZ server, security group. Right, so target group, I don't have any as of now. I'll create one. So my web DMZ TG, same, keep it as it is. But I'll be creating a healthy.html file for health checks. I'll reduce these to 2 interval of 10 seconds. Okay, next. Okay, so I'll be registering this server here. Next, review and hit on create. So this is how we create an application load balancer and put our EC2 server behind it, so that we do not have to go after IP address each and every time. We'll have a DNS name, as here you can see this is a DNS name. So let's get back to our SSH console and create that healthy.html file. So what we'll be doing, we'll create a file healthy.html. I'll put in this is uh, healthy server, funny one. Okay, I'll also change the ownership, chon-r apache :space healthy.html. So what I did basically here, I changed the ownership of this file to my Apache server, so that it does not faces any problem in accessing this file. I'll come back here, I'll see in my load balancer, I'll go to target groups and see if my target is healthy and is up for accessing it in the website. So it shows it's in the initial state, the registration is still in progress. I'll pause the video here and I'll be back once this is healthy and we can see the load balancer's DNS running in the web browser. Right, so as you can see here that this server is now in healthy state behind the load balancer. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my load balancer, I'll copy the DNS name and I'll just paste it in my browser and it should show up my website. See, it's well up and running. But hey, what happens if the server behind this changes, right? Changes, what I mean, if it is shut down and comes back up, I do not have an elastic IP. You see here, if I go to instances, so I do not have an elastic IP. So if I shut down this server and start it again, this website won't work. Why? I'll just show you. Let me log in into the admin panel of this website. Oops, did I forget my password? Okay, I'll put in my email address and we'll try to get it back. Let me reset the password. Right, so I have now reset my password. I'll log in. So now this is the dashboard. This is the admin panel for this website. Let's go to settings and go to general. Right, so see here, my site title is shown here, tagline, there's no tagline, but the WordPress address and the site URL are the IP address of the server. Why? Because when I initially set up this website, I used the IP address of the server to install the WordPress. So it by default saved this in the database. So now what I'll do, I'll replace it with my load balancer's DNS, so that if anything happens or my IP address changes, it will have no impact over my WordPress URL. And in the similar case, if you have a domain name such as www.example.com, you can make changes anytime you feel like you need to change the domain name of your website. Click on Save Changes. Okay, so it logged out. I'll log in again. And see, now I'll not get my IP address. I'll be using this webdmz lb, my load balancer, to access this website. If I click anywhere here, Okay, so this is taking me to the WordPress website. I do not need that. Right, so this is the hello world post. If I click on, see, it's still taking me to those IP address things because this post was created earlier. It's a by default post, so it took that IP address. Now if I create a new post from here, if I add a new post, hello buddies, how is the preparation going on? I'll now publish it. So see, if I go here and I go back to my home page, I have a new post, hello buddies, and if I click on it, I won't be seeing that IP address anymore because my website URL has changed. Right, so this is how you configure the WordPress installation. This is how you deploy a simple website, a WordPress website, and this is how you make changes in the domain part. This is how you put your server behind the load balancer and make it work so that the IP changes on your server or adding a new server does not impact your website. Right, so now we are left with the S3 backup for this complete website, so that I'll be showing you in my next video. So this is all for this video. I hope you guys are now familiar with how to set up different services and how to connect them all together to set up a website. So I have used different other services in a complete one or two videos so that you can have a better idea how different services can be used with one another and how they are beneficial for you to use in a production level environment. So this is all for this video guys. See you in my next videos. Have a good day.